The Angry Chicken is a production of Amove TV. Bookmark amove.tv for more gaming and esports shows. The Angry Chicken is directly supported by listeners like you via patreon.com/TAC.
Everyone, get in here! Ready for action! I've got the beast in my sight.
A podcast about Hearthstone, Heroes of Warcraft. This is the Angry Chicken.
Finish sculpting your Jade Golem because it is time to talk about the Jade Lotus on today's episode of The Angry Chicken. Hey everyone, I'm Garrett Weinzerl. The man sitting down is Dills, and to my left virtually, right? Yes, left. Right for you if you're watching it, my left, is Jocelyn Moffat. Welcome back,
What up?
Oh, you know.
Welcome to Jade Stone.
Yeah.
Stone, whatever you want to call it. It's here.
Jade Golem Stone? Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome
As
to
if
it.
we haven't had enough of overwhelming Druid and Shaman decks.
Yes.
Clearly not. Clearly not. And we haven't had enough of everyone doomsaying Rogue. So.
Yeah, and actually, though, Rogue gets golems. So, suck it, everyone else. Rogue is part of the golem crew. Although they only get 2 golem cards.
That's the thing.
Well, everyone else gets like 6. What's up with... Okay, never mind. We're
We'll
off
get
on a
there.
tangent
Yeah.
already. We're off and running. Let's go.
Up and running out of the gates. Chase that fake rabbit. Well, before we chase it too far, would like to remind everyone that today's episode is brought to you by Harrys.com, the makers of fine razors, and they've got a new promo for all of you tech listeners out there right now. If you need a gift idea for the holidays, they have a limited edition set available right now. Again, they make high quality razors. They're a very good price. All 3 of us here at TAC use their razors. And we just got their holiday boxes, and I have to say they're really nice. The box is gorgeous. The handle is midnight blue chrome, and you get quite a few blades, 3 of the 5 blade cartridges, and your choice of foaming gel or shave cream. As always, our code is TAC. You can use that code at checkout at harrys.com to get $5 off of your order, and we would love to remind you that free shipping is available on all orders over $10 until December 9th. So go to harrys.com right now and check out their limited edition holiday shave set while supplies last. And use the code TAC.
You know what your dad doesn't want? Your dad doesn't want another tie. You know what he does want? He wants a Harry's holiday box. So hook him up.
May have ordered one for my dad, and it's safe to say because he only listens to this show when Daniel Negreanu is on it.
Yeah, so he will never find out. We can all talk about what we're getting our dads for Christmas. No one else knows.
Absolutely. Well, with that in mind, let's talk about what we're getting for Christmas, because holy crap, guys, when they said early December, when Team 5 got up on stage and said, hey, Mean Streets of Gadgetzan coming early December, they were as literal as humanly possible, because the Mean Streets of Gadgetzan are coming out this Thursday. This freaking Thursday. That's December 1st. It doesn't get any earlier December than that, unless they invented time travel and released it of December in 2015.
It would be kind of awesome if they actually did release it like 12:01 a.m. December 1st. Bam, all the cards are released. I mean, I personally would like it, but
I wouldn't, because it would be Pacific time and I'd be sawing logs. So
now, did anybody predict that it would be this friggin' early? I mean, I thought like second week maybe of December.
No, I don't. No, I didn't. I didn't at all. I was thinking, they can't wait till like the bitter end, because then we would all give them crap saying, yeah, you promised us 2 expansions, 1 adventure a year, and this is like barely getting in there, guys. I mean, I'm sure they didn't want to hear that come out of our mouths. So I was thinking second week, maybe third week, worst case scenario, but December 1st, no. I had no idea.
Yeah, I think I was predicting something like the 6th or the 13th. I thought a Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday for sure, yeah.
But damn, all right. Thursday.
Even Frodan was kind of like, I don't know if he knew ahead of time, but on the stream he was just like,
On the stream?
can we like get a release date or something? And he's like, oh yeah, sure, December 1st. And he was just like, what?
All right.
Yep.
By the way, Frodan does not listen to other people when he plays Hearthstone. Like, I'm not hating on Frodan, but damn, it was frustrating to watch. I'm like, the dude is telling you to do it in this order, and you just refuse. So anyway.
But if he had listened, we would all be calling him a shill for Blizzard and saying he's in their back pocket
whatever.
and all the things that we get all the time. So it was.
I found
was
it
fun.
funny though. I've watched his stream, just regular stream, but like I was like, dude, you are screwing up right now. Somehow they won 3 games anyway. But that was a great stream. I really enjoy those. Maybe one day, Blizzard. Maybe one day we could come on there and do one of those.
Maybe.
What do you think? What do you think, Team
maybe.
5?
Maybe one day we'll get a card reveal.
I'll dye.
Yeah.
I'll dye my hair blue. Like I'll do whatever you
I
need.
have had my hair
hair's
blue.
always funky colors.
Exactly. It's
I gave
awesome
up.
On top of it.
I gave up. So that's nuts. That's coming out that soon. So we probably should mention Thursday. We don't have a time to give you, but Thursday we will be recording another episode of the Angry Chicken. It will not be a Brawl episode. It will be another episode going up on the main feed that will be covering the rest of the cards we have yet to talk about. So today we're going to talk about all of the Jade Lotus cards. And then on Thursday, we're going to fill in. We have just a little over 30 cards left to discuss after we're done talking Jade Lotus today. So we'll be filling in the rest of the Grammy Goons, the rest of the Cabal Gaps, and a few of the neutrals that honestly don't belong in any of the freaking clans. And then after that, we should be opening some packs, and we'll see who has the best and the worst luck this year. Or this particular release. We'll go
cycle.
there. But we don't know what time because we don't know what time it's releasing. And to be honest, my schedule's a little insane right now because I'm moving on Saturday. So that is also getting in the way. But without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about the Jade Lotus. And I think the first thing we need to do before we talk about the Jade Lotus is talk about the Jade Golem specifically because this is a key term. You're going to be seeing a lot on these Jade Lotus cards, a lot of things that summon this token minion. The Jade Golem. And if you're watching the video, we've got a GIF up there, and you'll notice that it is getting bigger and more expensive. And that is because every time you summon a Jade Golem token, it's the first time it'll be a 1/1. The second time it will be a 2/2, and so on and so forth. Every single time you summon one, it gains power +1/+1, and it also goes up in mana cost by 1 up to a maximum of 10 mana, but it doesn't stop growing in power at 10/10. It can actually go all the way up to a 30/30 that would still cost 10 mana if it got bounced back to your hand. So yeah, I mean at this,
this is ridiculous.
It's absurd, and this is just known. I mean, it's still I'm assuming 30
is
and
known.
30/30 would be the max, but it's not. No one's came out and said it. It's not a concrete fact that 30/30 is the max.
I thought that they said it on stream that
Did they?
30/30 was the max.
Yeah, I think on the stream he said, like it can go up to 30/30.
I might-
But
may
it
have
would,
missed
yeah,
that.
but it would be very difficult to actually get.
It'll be
a
really hard to
30/30
get that to happen.
Right.
You'd have to have a game. Essentially, Druid, I think, would be the only class that could maybe do it, and the game would have to go
Forever.
really friggin' long, right? You'd have to throw a bunch of Jade idols into your deck, but
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I must have missed that because all the websites I tried to second check on said it's unknown at the moment whether this is the maximum. Yada yada yada. So, anyways, if 30,
now, how do you guys pronounce it? Jade Golem, Jade Golem,
I don't.
Golem.
Do
Jade Golem.
we really
Yeah.
not have enough to
I
talk
do.
about today?
I do Jade Golem. I do Jade Golem.
Let's see. I say Golem.
Well, every single time I've said it on stream, someone has been like, "It's this way," and I'm like, "Is this really a thing? You guys are concerned about how this word is pronounced?"
Apparently,
Golem
yes.
comes up in your life enough times that you have a preferred nomenclature. No, it's Jade Golem, right?
It's Golem unless you're actually Golem and you're currently choking on the word of your own name and saying Golem. That's the only time you should have a hard O. Anyways, now that we've explained the Jade Golem, come at me, bros. Let's talk about Druids, and we're going to be starting with common and working all the way up through legendary. If you're watching the video version, you may want to make this a little bigger than you usually do because we got a lot of cards to cram into this slide. And XSplit is already running slow enough as it is because of how many images I have crammed in here. But let's start off with this is already out of order. Darn it. Let's talk about Mark of the Lotus.
Well, it's fine.
Let's do it. Mark of the Lotus, which is a 1-mana common spell, which reads, give your minions +1/+1.
Yeah, this is a good token card, but
It is.
the thing is, Jade Golems are going to be really good, so you probably won't see much token Druid anymore.
Yeah.
So you probably won't see this card very much. But and I think in Arena, you probably don't draft this because you need to have minions on the board. You'd rather just draft minions. So, yeah. It's like Power of the Wild for 1 cheaper in Token Druid. It's great.
Yep.
But tokens? Why would I do that when I can make 8/8s and 9/9s and 10/10s?
Technically, I would call them tokens. I mean, they're
Sure.
just
Okay. Yeah, I can buff my golems +1/+1.
they're just they're tokens that lift. I mean,
Yeah.
I just don't think that there would be room necessarily in a golem deck for something like this. You know, like whatever the spell is, you're going to want it to interact specifically with golems, right? So
Yeah.
oh, I'm just being a jackass. I would never put this in my golem deck.
No. But if you do play Violet Teacher and tokens and all that stuff, you definitely play this.
yes.
Yep. Let's move on and talk about the Jade Behemoth, a 6-mana common minion that has 3 attacks, 6 health, taunt, and a battle cry that reads Summon a Jade Golem. So here we go. Here's our first Summon a Jade Golem card. Get used to me saying those words in your ears, everyone listening, because it's going to happen a lot today.
Yeah.
So what do we
My
think of Mr.
question is, does this summon a Jade Golem? Then I put it in my deck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're getting significantly less attack than you might hope for when you pay 6 mana, but you're also summoning a Jade Golem, and by the time this comes out, hopefully your Golem is making up for that lack of attack on the Behemoth itself.
Yeah,
Sure,
I think
it
it's
is,
probably very likely that you're going to get at least a 3/3 by the time you're on turn 6 and playing this card.
Well, by turn 6, you might have ramped, so this might be on like turn 4.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, you've probably played at least 1 or 2 at that point. So I think most of the time you can say this is a 6-mana 3/6 and a 3/3.
Yeah.
And what's really cool is when you play Bran Brobeard and then you play Jade Behemoth, you get double Golem. So
Well, and the first golem that comes out is a 3/3, and the second is a
one's a
4/4.
4/4.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it's not even 2
know.
of the same, which is super cool.
I know. It's crazy.
So sweet. So freaking
Good
The
card.
other thing we should also mention with all of these Jade Golem cards is that they actually change, so they will tell you exactly what the stats on your Golem are going to be, which was really
Yes.
cool and revealed on stream yesterday with Frodan. So you actually see like do whatever and summon a 1/1/2/2/3/3, so you can keep track. You don't have to track any other way with the deck tracker or your head. But who uses their head? Come on, let's be serious.
Yeah.
You know what though? I think I'll remember that my last Golem was a 7/7. But
You
it's
think
nice.
so?
But it's
By the
still nice
time by the time you're making like 11 11s and 12 12s, you're gonna remember exactly where you are, or does
At
it
that
even
point,
matter?
Who cares? At that point, who cares?
I'm not sure you're gonna need to. Is the point we're getting at.
Summon a big ass dude. It should just say that. It'll
At
just
some
change
point,
it.
it should just change to summon a big ass dude.
Yeah. Anger your opponent.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Do
But-
something completely unfair.
But
for
it is a
6
very it's a very nice piece of UI, something we haven't really seen on cards before. So Jade, like if you're looking at the Jade Behemoth card right now, for example, it would say summon a X/X Jade Golem.
Yep.
Even though if you're going and looking at fan sites, it doesn't have that on there. It will include the stats of the Jade Golem, which is great.
Yeah, the only other thing I think that we've seen in the past that alters the text on cards is spell power.
Yeah,
think
spell
that's
power
the
actually
other
turns the
number. Yeah, changes
Yeah.
the number. Yeah.
Yes, it's very true. Let's talk about Jade Blossom, which is a 3-mana common spell, which reads Summon a Jade Golem. Gain an empty mana crystal.
Well, my question is, does it summon a Jade Golem? Then it goes in my deck.
Yeah, ramp
I don't
and
even care
Jade
about the
Golems.
ramp.
This feels broken.
Hey, do you like ramp? Is your only complaint about ramp is that you don't get something when the turn you... Do you wish Wild Growth summoned a dude? Well, here you go.
So there's a lot of people who are like, oh man, it doesn't cycle at 10 mana. And I'm like, well, you know what it does do at 10 mana? It plays like a 9/9. So shut up with your damn cycle. Who cares? Once you're at 10 mana, this is 3 mana, play a huge guy.
Play a big
So,
guy, yeah.
Yeah, of course it doesn't cycle at 10 mana. That would be stupid. But on like
Cycle
turn,
and get a 12/12 for 3
Yeah.
mana.
You're probably playing a Golem deck if this is in your deck.
yeah.
Why are you sad about Yeah, I
don't
don't
need cards, dude. You just got another giant dude.
I don't understand
So
that.
yeah, so it's great because Druid likes to ramp. I think you could play this and Wild Growth, but I think personally, I'll probably dump the Wild Growth and I'll just play this as my only real ramping option. Probably a Nourish too or something like that. But
Yeah. You mentioned when we were talking about the Behemoth that if you're ramping, then like you could be getting a 6-mana minion out before turn 6, and I think that's probably. Ramping is probably something you do a little bit less of in this deck because you want to play things that are going to be generating, like you want to have a whole bunch of turns before you get to turn 6, right? Like you don't necessarily want to skip all that early stuff because you want to start summoning your golems. Something else we should point out that we didn't point out in our general golem discussion at the beginning is that you actually can't silence these. So when they are summoned, they are a 4/4 or 5/5. It's not a 1/1 constantly getting buffed.
The art even changes. Like they're individual.
Yeah,
so
they are individual
set of them
tokens.
are one version of art, and then as it powers up, it's like bigger and buffer. And if you watched the GIF earlier, then you saw it. But
Bigger.
yeah,
The art is shared between certain stats, but
yes. But at a certain point, it like skips to it. It's like a new card almost. Yeah,
I
and
really
they are
think
literally it's not green numbers. Like they are not silenceable. They are an 8/8, a 9/9, a 10/10.
They're unique
Yeah,
cards.
so-
Yeah.
That's the big difference between the goon cards and the golems is that the goon cards are buffs. Like you can silence that stuff off and they go back to what they originally were. But the golems can't be dealt with a silence.
I think the 30/30 should get unique art. That is a giant jade middle finger. If you get that far.
To be honest, though, I might prefer that they were 1/1s that were buffed and you could silence them because I'm a little concerned about this mechanic just in general. After watching the stream.
There's not enough removal in the game. Even removal no one's playing right now. There's still not enough removal in the game. It's kind of scary. I agree with you, Dills.
It's going to go in one of two directions, which is everyone's going to play this, or everyone's going to just play aggro and try to kill this deck before it ever gets its golems up, right? Mm-hmm. Before it ever gets those golems going. And I don't like that. I'm not, time will tell. We'll wait for Thursday before we know if this sucks and this totally makes the game less fun or if it's more fun. But I definitely have concerns right now.
Well, and I think that we might see, a change. We might see this become a buff to a 1/1 token if it turns out that these decks just end up being oppressive. We could potentially see that change. I could see that being a balance patch.
Sure.
In a month or two. Yeah.
Yeah. The problem too is, and we haven't even gotten through. We're 3 cards in, but there's like 2 more golem cards in the Druid set, right?
Yep. And then there's a couple neutral ones in the tri-class cards for Lotus, and there's a lot of golems going on. So yeah, I'm equally
Not to mention,
concerned.
if you actually have, and I'm totally blanking on it right now, but the card that's in the rotation right now that lets you choose a minion or a spell.
Oh, yeah.
That'll let you come up with
Raven
more.
Idol. Yeah.
Raven Idol, thank you.
Raven Idol, you find more golem
Find more golem cards.
Yeah.
Discover a Jade Golem.
Lotus agents discover more golem cards, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, lots of golems.
Yep.
Lots
Yeah.
of golems.
Well, let's move into Druid rares. Let's talk about the Celestial Dreamer, which is a 3-mana rare minion with 3 attack and 3 health. It also has a battle cry that reads, if a friendly minion has 5 or more attack, gain +2/+2, which really means if your golems have summoned more than 5 times.
Yeah.
I
This
don't
card
know.
doesn't summon a golem, though.
No, it
so
doesn't.
Yeah, so
I'm
I don't-
passing.
I don't think this goes in a deck, but this could potentially go in a ramp deck. Maybe, you're getting big minions out and you want another big minion. But, I mean,
Yeah,
this
I
one,
guess.
it's obviously not an actual turn 3 card.
No.
No.
No,
Yeah, it's
at
not
all.
3-drop. And the thing is, when cards are bigger than their mana cost, they need to come out on that turn for them to really be good, right? So playing a 5/5 on like turn 8 because you already have another 5/5
Yeah.
is way less good than playing a 5/5 on turn 3. And that's not going to happen very often. So
Yep.
No.
pass.
Doesn't summon a golem. Well, Dills, can I interest you in a Jade Idol, which is a 1-mana
Yes.
rare spell which reads, choose one, summon a Jade Golem, or shuffle 3 copies of this card into your deck.
Yep. Remember when fatigue was a thing? Well, no longer.
Yeah.
We don't care about that anymore. It's really good with Fandral. Late in the game, this is going to be 1 mana, play a 12/12 or whatever. Like, yeah, it's going to be gross, dude. So it's a good card, man. It's a really good card, and every Jade Golem deck will play this.
It's kind of gross.
Yep.
This is the key to my concern.
Yeah, this card is probably the biggest problem I see going forward. Like, even Kuhn the Forgotten King, the 0 mana 7/7 doesn't concern me as much as Jade Idol, the 1 mana 12/12 never go to fatigue.
Okay, that's a fair. It's a 0 mana 7/7 if you currently have 10 mana.
Yeah. It's 0 mana 7/7 on turn 10.
Yeah.
Or earlier.
Yeah, this card is crazy. So, yep, look forward to this.
How
forward to seeing lots and lots of this.
How was this not a thing they discussed at BlizzCon? Like,
I know, right? We didn't find out about this until like a week ago or something.
I don't get it. Like, they showed some of the most innocuous things possible at BlizzCon.
They're like, check out this pirate. It's a 1/1 with charge. And I'm like,
Yar.
dude, tell me about the damn Jade Idol.
Oh, that's unfair. Patches is awesome.
Sure, but this card is crazy. Although they didn't really reveal the Jade Golem thing for a long time, so
Right.
they just weren't ready to tell us about that yet. I think they didn't want the reaction of what? Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing right now?
That's what you should do at BlizzCon. That's the point of BlizzCon. We're all supposed to go.
Know.
They're supposed to put the card up on the screen. The whole audience goes, "Oh!"
Yeah.
what they're
This
supposed
would
to
have
do.
done it.
That's the goal.
But first they would have had to explain the Jade Golem. I don't know. Maybe it was too long. It was too long to get there.
Maybe.
Too many steps to go through. But anyway, this card is disgustingly good. And yeah, I'll put 2 of them in my deck.
Indeed, I will take.
And
2.
then another 3, and then
And
another
I'll put
3.
3
and
more.
then-
3 more again.
Exactly. All right, let's look at Vermin Sensei. I really like the art on this card. This is a 5 mana rare minion with 4 attack, 5 health, and battle cry that reads, "Give a friendly beast +2/+2." And no one cares. No one cares because of Jade Golems.
Oh, yeah. Are you playing Beast Druid? Why? It's
You have
Golem
made
Druid.
some questionable choices, sir.
But if you do play Beast Druid, yes, you probably play the Vermin Sensei. It's like a Houndmaster for Beast Druid. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I really
Duh.
like the art. I'm so disappointed. It's been so overshadowed. I'm like, oh, it's a cool card, but yeah.
I know, it's pretty cool. But yeah, the problem is, like, it's funny because we've been saying, oh man, they're shoving that Beast Druid down our throats. This time it felt like, well, I guess we should give them a Beast Druid card since we've been doing it for so long. So, okay, what do we got?
Yeah.
Oh, 5 mana Yeti that buffs for +2/+2. Okay, cool.
Yep.
But yeah, no
Well,
one's
it's-
gonna play Beast Druid.
Yeah. I'm not.
Not 2017.
Let's move into epics and talk about Lunar Visions, a 5 mana epic druid spell which reads, draw 2 cards, minions drawn cost 2 less.
Yeah, so I think you don't play this in constructed because you'd rather probably still nourish and just draw 3 cards.
Yeah, these
Or ramp.
these types of cards are among my least favorite in Hearthstone. The draw some cards. If it's a specific card, maybe something good happens.
Sure. But I do see this being picked sometimes in the epic slot in Arena because in Arena you draft a lot of minions, right? So most of the time it'll be essentially an arcane intellect, and sometimes it'll be like 1 mana draw 2 minions, right? Like,
It's true.
and that'll be cool.
And there's some funky epics that this is going to go up against in Arena.
Yeah.
That you're just going to be like, okay, yeah, I'll overpay for card draw. Why not?
Yeah. So this is definitely a card that I think only really sees play in Arena sometimes, but not like you want to ramp before, like you don't ramp after you draw. Like, I don't know, it just doesn't play well with what Druid's already doing, right? So no.
Summoning Jade Golems, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
This is what
draw
Druid's
2
doing.
cards and summon a Jade Golem.
This is
then
what
that
I'm
would
doing.
Be playable.
Nourish draws me 3 Jade Golem cards. You only draw me 2. So get out of here, Lunar Visions.
And and some Jade Golem cards are spells. So get out of here. Get out of here. Let's talk about Pilfered Power, a 3 mana epic spell for druids that reads, gain an empty mana crystal for each friendly minion.
Nah. I'll pass.
Yeah.
I do like there is obviously a dream scenario, right, where you just flood the board with little dudes, and then on turn 3 you ramp up to like 8 mana. But that's just not going to happen often enough. So,
Living roots. Mana.
Living roots. Yeah. Yeah. So it's not going to happen often enough, I think, for this to actually be good.
Yeah, you need a pretty specific draw to be excited about Pilfered Power.
The other thing too is if I'm trying to ramp up, am I also playing a bunch of little dudes? Probably not, right? Like if I'm playing like an ancestral, what should we call it, Druid, or Astral Communion Druid, right? If I'm playing that deck, I want to ramp up, right? I want big ramp, but I don't play a bunch of little dudes in that deck. So
yeah,
I don't think you play a bunch of little dudes and a bunch of big dudes, and then Pilfered Power your way to your big dudes. I don't think that works.
Yeah, it's a very risky deck, right? To make this work, because you don't need enough little dudes that you can guarantee this is worth a darn. Because the later the game gets, the less exciting Pilfered Power becomes.
Exactly. Yeah, you have to ramp early for this to matter, and like ramp is always only really good early because at a certain point the mana evens out, right? So ramping is like that's why Wild Growth is really good. It happens on turn 2, and then for the rest of the game you're ahead, right?
Yep.
Pilfered Power, first of all, like if this was a 2 mana, gain an empty mana crystal for each friendly minion -1 or something like that, like you might see it, but because then it could potentially be like a double Wild Growth, right? Like you could play Living Roots turn 1 and then this, but it's just not. Like it just, I don't know. It doesn't work out. The math does not compute.
It asks too much. Well, let's finally talk about the Druid Legendary, Kun the Forgotten King, which will cost you 10 mana *.
By the way, sorry. Nippy Papa asked if this gives you excess mana. No, we should probably clarify that.
Oh, it doesn't.
Power, also no excess mana.
Oh,
sorry. Go ahead.
Strange. Feels like it should. All right. So Kun the Forgotten King, or do you call him Kun?
I go Kun. Kun sounds dirty.
Fair enough.
I don't know why it's one letter away from being a word.
Let's just move past that, please. So yeah, Kun the Forgotten King, 10 mana, *, has 7 attack, 7 health, and reads choose 1, gain 10 armor, or refresh your mana crystals. So this is the 7/7 for 0 mana that Dills was discussing, although not really. You need to have 10 mana crystals currently to actually cast this guy. But you can throw a 7/7 out and then have 10 more mana to play with the same turn.
It's turn 6, double innervate.
Yeah.
Double innervate my Kun.
Or if you Wild Growth before then, or if you Pilfered Power before then.
Sure.
It's all kinds of early crazy turns that you can get the Forgotten King out.
Yep. So this is basically, I mean, it's cool, but it's a 0 mana 7/7 on turn 10, and then you do more stuff. That's really all it is. The other thing though, okay, so the dream, right, is the Aviana Forgotten King deck, right? Where you Aviana and then you Kun and then you get 10 more mana and then you play like Ragnaros and Ysera and whatever. Like you just go crazy. Yeah, I guess. I don't think I play this because I think on turn 10 I'm playing giant Jade Golems, right? So
yeah.
Why do I want to play a 7/7?
So would you play it if it was choose 1, summon a Jade Golem, or refresh your mana crystals?
I would summon the Jade Golem.
You can play him and then your Jade Golem cards on like late in the game.
Yeah, true.
But
why
it's
not?
Still just it's an extra 7/7. I'm just throwing one more 7/7 on the board. That's like all I'm really doing.
In what universe are these words forming a sentence? Like
this one, where Jade Golems exist.
Yeah,
it's just one more giant punishing minion.
One more 7/7s, and then when they brawl, I lose. My 7/7 wins instead of my 12/12, my 13/13, and my 14/14.
You still have a 7/7 on board.
I know, but here's the thing, Garrett. You got to adjust your brain to understand that 7/7s are no longer the king of the jungle.
You're right. My paladin deck that is coming back with
king
a
in
quality
town.
is I'm bringing Pally back is the thing I'm learning from the Jade Lotus cards.
Like everything you thought you knew, like just throw that away. Giant dudes are no longer as giant as you thought they were. Like, I don't know. It's this card, when I saw it at BlizzCon, I was not aware of Jade Golems. And I was like, oh my God, this card's so crazy. And now that I do know, I'm like, whatever. Does it summon a Jade Golem? Nah, it doesn't.
Little do we know that the Year of the Kraken was alluding to Jade Golems. All right, let's move on and talk about the next class within the Jade Lotus, the Rogue. Many cards to discuss here. Let's start off in commons with Jade Shuriken, which is a 2-mana spell, deals 2 damage, and has a combo. Dills plays it. Oh, I'm sorry, it says summon a Jade Golem.
Yeah, pretty much. This card is really good, man.
Yeah.
This card is amazing.
It is it's a solid card.
Yeah.
Solid
It's a
spell.
really good card for Arena, and it's going to be a really good card in Constructed. Even if you don't have other Golem cards, it's like deal 2 damage, summon a 1/1 is actually pretty freaking good. So
Yep.
yeah.
And
Play this.
Jade Golems make me consider playing a 2-mana 1/1. The Jade Swarmer is a common minion. Yeah, it's a 2-mana 1/1 with stealth and a death rattle that reads summon a Jade Golem.
Also good.
Yeah.
So 2-mana 1/1 and another 1/1 if you don't even have any other cards. So, but a 1/1 with stealth and then another one. I mean, I think that's probably
By
pretty good,
itself,
too.
played before any other. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, if you play this without having summoned a Jade Golem beforehand, it's kind of like an overcosted Argent Squire. But
A little bit. Yeah.
but,
I guess you could say that. Or an overcosted, tormented villager.
Possessed villager.
Possessed villager. There you go.
yeah.
There's too
Although
many damn cards
he
now.
does look very tormented. I
There's
will.
too
I will
many
concede
cards
that.
now, you know.
But there
so I'm
has
gonna
to be-
confuse them all.
But the thing is, with that comparison, there has to be some value given to the fact that even if this is the first Jade Golem you summon, you're still summoning Jade Golem and getting that ball rolling. So I still
Yes.
think I think it's fine. Like, worst case scenario, if you play this and it's the first Jade Golem you summon, I still don't think you're overpaying too much.
No,
I think it's
no.
minuscule.
Yeah, because, and again, too, in Arena, if you want to look at just Arena as well, where we don't necessarily have Jade Golem cards like all the time, even still, like that, you might have a few, and even if you only had like 3, like by the time you get to the 3rd one, that'll still be worth it, right? So like, I don't know, even in like a vacuum, I think these cards are fine and like decent. But then when you then pair them with the fact that you're definitely summoning more golems later, they suddenly become really friggin' good. So yeah, these are good cards.
The problem now that we're going to see, and anyone looking at the screen can see with Rogue, is that's our 2 Jade
Yeah,
Golems
where are the
cards.
rest of them? I know. No, but you know what though? Gadgetzan Ferryman, put that Jade Swarmer back in my hand. Play it again, bro. Yeah. Doesn't work because it's a death rattle, but never mind. Anyway.
No, it doesn't.
Rogue has some problems.
But let me tell you, now that we've talked about that, let's talk about the most exciting card in the set, the Shadow Rager.
Oh, God.
Come on, if you haven't seen this card, you know where this is going, Hearthstone players. Come on, it's a 3-mana common minion. It's a 5/1, but it has stealth.
It does have stealth.
Cool. Let's talk about the
Bro.
counterfeit coin. 0 mana rare spell. This reads gain 1 mana crystal this turn only. The rogues finally get to just put the coin in their deck.
Yeah.
And maybe because the coin is so strong and there's the combo mechanic and everything else, maybe that's why they get Shadow Rager, because Blizzard's just like, whoa, this is way too powerful. We have to give
It's
them
not.
crap for everything else.
It's just not, though. It's not.
I know.
I think it's
oh.
still good, but I don't think that it's good enough to even maybe take up a slot in my Miracle Rogue deck, because I only have 30 slots, right? So, yeah, it's gonna be tough to make this, like, to actually find a place for this. Because I mean, I know, Jocelyn, you don't play a lot of Rogue. Garrett, I think you probably played some.
Barely.
It's really difficult to find spots for everything you want in your Miracle Rogue deck, right? Like, a lot of times you're like cutting a sap for something, and you'd rather not. Like, you'd rather keep the saps in there if you could, but to find space for everything you need, you like, things get cut. And so, what do I cut to put in coins? I don't know.
Well, and I mean, we've already got access to Tomb Pillager, right? And that's why it's so good, is because you have a minion that then also gives you a coin. So you can have 2 of those in your deck, and you don't really need the counterfeit coin. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I don't know. But I do think that it's a good card. I think actually, like, being able to just put a coin in your deck is pretty good. I mean, Innervate is really good. Half an Innervate is still pretty good, right? So I think it's actually a decent card. I just don't know, like, where it goes in the current version of Hearthstone. But maybe I'm wrong, and maybe we'll see. We'll see.
No, I agree. I am excited though, just like from the meta implications. It's just like, hey, coin's really good for Rogue. Can we just give them a coin card that does the same thing?
Right?
And they like, yeah, why not? I really like this Hearthstone snake eating itself. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah. The thing is, when you do play Rogue, and I have played tons of Rogue. When you do play Rogue, you love it when you go second. You're just like so excited. Okay, I'm going second. Cool. And when you're not, like, because it enables things like SI7 agent. It's so many things that suddenly open up once you have that coin. So it's possible this goes in, but I'm hesitant to say it's good.
And Nikolai the Duck in the chat room, I'm with you. I still don't understand why Blade Flurry was nerfed at this point. We haven't talked about all the rogue cards, but looking at all the rogue cards, I don't understand why Blade Flurry was nerfed.
Well, the thing is, they're always working a couple of expansions ahead, right? So, I mean, if they have some cool ideas, and maybe this has even happened in the past, they have some cool ideas and they weren't able to implement them because of Blade Flurry. So, if they already had everything for Gadgetzan figured out, maybe it's the next set that we see this stuff in. So,
yeah, but they could have nerfed it a year later.
I think, that's true. I do think they should maybe think about unnerfing just a tiny bit, because that card is literally dead right now.
Yeah.
And Rogue really needs AoE, right? So I'd like to see it could stay its not going face thing, but maybe make it 3 mana.
Well, in the world of Jade Golem Stone, I mean, is it really going to kill anything? Let's be honest.
No. Not. Good point. I'm going to sap your Golem, dude. Well, I'm going to play it again.
And then I'm going to summon another one. All right, let's talk about the Gadgetzan Ferryman, which you already mentioned, Dills. This is a 2-mana rare minion, has 2 attack, 3 health, and a combo that reads, return a friendly minion to your hand.
So this card got a lot of flack on Twitter when they announced it. People were just
extremely confusing as to why this is a card in a world of...
people were just crapping on this card all day. I mean, you can bounce your Jade Spirits, which we haven't talked about yet, but that's just to summon a Jade Golem card. You could bounce your Aya Black Paws. Whatever. I mean, you won't do that. The one thing, though, I will say about this card is in Arena, it's better than the Panda because you don't have to bounce something.
Yeah, it's a 2/3. It's a 2/3 for 2, which there's plenty of times in Arena where you're just like, sweet, let's do this, and you're absolutely right. It doesn't force you to return them into your hand when you play it.
You could if you want, and you don't have to. So,
and in that
respect, it's better than a Panda.
And there are plenty of rogue minions you can get more value out of by bringing them back into your hand.
Yeah,
but
still, pretty bad card, I think. Just overall.
I agree. I agree with the flack, but I also don't think it's the worst card we've ever seen.
No,
and it's okay.
We've definitely seen worse cards.
And even at the end of the day, we're gonna get bad cards. It's a card game. That's how it works.
Yeah. Remember the Backstreet Leper or whatever it is? Like, look, not the worst card we've seen. So.
But he was so fancy.
He was so fancy.
Very fancy.
He had a very nice robe. Very nice robe. And such a good smile for a leper. Let's talk about Shadow Sensei, a 4-mana rare minion with 4 attack, 4 health, and a battle cry that reads, give a stealth minion +2/+2. Oh, Shadow Rager value.
Shadow Rager into Shadow Sensei. I have a 7/3. What up?
Using your counterfeit coin to get the sensei out at... Oh, no, wait. Sorry. It is
you're
looking at the wrong one. Yeah.
We have 2.
It curves perfectly. Unfortunately, a 7/3 will still just like die to a quick shot or something. So,
but it's stealth, man.
But it hits the face once. So for 3 mana plus another card, you got 7 damage. I don't know. Probably not a lot of stealth rogue decks coming. And this card doesn't, I think, enable that deck to exist, right?
But maybe this is the start of a stealth rogue build, and like we saw with Beast Druid, and it's still not there yet, but Taunt Warrior and potentially, any dragon deck ever. They start with like poking us with an idea and saying, hey, do you guys think you'd play this? Pokey poke, 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 poke. And we go, that could be kind of cool. And they go, all right.
But here's what Blizzard does, though. They give us like almost enough stealth cards to give us a stealth deck. And then at some point they're like, here's a brand new mechanic, Golems. And you're like, oh, screw Beast Druid. Never mind. And we move on. So maybe we'll get halfway there, and then they'll introduce something else in like 2 expansions.
It's not necessarily a bad thing, though, because I would like them to experiment with things out of the blue.
Sure.
That said,
I think this is very rogue, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've
Stealth
been
minions and then utilizing your stealth minions in a certain way. Very rogue. I like it. I think they should
Stealth
keep
rogues
it.
should be a thing for sure.
yeah, I've been waiting for it
I'd
since
also
the
like
launch of the game.
weapons, and I'd also like, other stuff, poisons.
Poisons.
Yeah. Since the Blade Flurry nerf, I've been waiting for good weapons to come back to Rogue, and since the announcement of Hearthstone, I've been waiting for Stealth Rogue. So, let's talk about Lotus Assassin. Speaking of stealth minions, this is our first epic card to talk about. This is a 5-mana epic minion, has 5 attack, 5 health, has stealth, and reads whenever this attacks and kills a minion, gain stealth.
Cool. Good card.
I like the idea of re-stealthing. I think that's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I love it. It's almost like always going to be a 2-for-1. One thing I want to point out, though, because I've seen people say this, it's only when it attacks. So when the opponent, if it's unstealth and the opponent attacks into it, it will not re-stealth if the one minion doesn't kill it.
Yeah, it
So-
says that. It says it right there on the card. This minion,
Oh, I know, but a lot of people were like, "Oh my God, they can't kill it with one attack." No, it doesn't work that way.
or whenever this
It has
attacks,
to
so-
attack. Yes.
Right,
So I just
right.
want to make sure people understand that.
And actually,
but
I
yeah.
think Lotus Assassin is a perfectly legitimate target for Shadow Sensei if you want to experiment with a stealth deck.
Sure. But the other thing too, someone just in chat said conceal then Shadow Sensei. If Shadow Sensei said give all stealth minions +2/+2, then you got something there. But it's only one minion, so I don't think that's really that great.
Right. If we get more cards like Shadow Sensei, then stuff like Lotus Assassin and future stealth cards become a lot more viable. We just need more stealth synergy, and I think Shadow Sensei and Lotus Assassin are in that range. And I just think it's clever because if I'm looking at Lotus Assassin in a vacuum and I'm just thinking about Rogue up till now, I'm thinking Rogue is the class with the least amount of healing. This? I get 2-for-1 probably, and nothing really beyond that because it's probably going to be dead by then.
Sure.
But having that stealth synergy with something like Shadow Sensei, it is indirectly a heal. It's it's buffing its stats. So I like that.
Sure. Yeah, but even in a vacuum without any of these other cards, Lotus Assassin is a good card on its own.
Yeah.
And I think it could enable a tempo rogue type build to come back a little bit. Because that was a really strong deck for a long time, and then at a certain point, all of its tools got nerfed. There used to be that thing where it's there's 18 cards that went in every deck or whatever. It was the cleric and the dark iron dwarf and all that stuff, and that was when tempo rogue was at its height. Maybe this card is enough to bring something like that back.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about our last rogue epic, the Lucky Do Buccaneer. Love this name. This is a 6-mana epic pirate minion. Has 5 attack, 5 health, and a battle cry that reads, if your weapon has at least 3 attack, gain +4/+4.
Okay.
I'd be
So
excited
if
about
I have
this.
deadly poison in my deck,
Yeah.
then I get a 9/9.
Yeah. I would love a weapon to come in the set that is over 3
Yeah.
attack.
This forces you to play Assassin's Blade or something, and you don't really want to play Assassin's Blade,
Or poison.
or Deadly Poison, yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I don't know. We'll see. It's I don't know, 6-mana 9/9. We've had that. There's the dragon card that when they're under 15 health, it's a 9/9. That makes play, but it's also a dragon. This is a pirate, so maybe in some sort of aggro pirate deck, you can make this work, but I'm not sure yet.
I understand that stealth kind of fits in with the whole theme of Jade Lotus, so I get why these cards came in this set, but I really wish instead of all of these stealth cards that we had just gotten more Jade Golem cards, because I feel like that would be better. I feel like Rogue just didn't get anything this set that is really powerful, and I feel really bad for them because I feel like Rogue is basically getting set up to be the bottom of the pile. And that's unfortunate.
You underestimate.
It's already a tricky deck to play, and I don't know. I wish that they were a little bit more powerful.
That's the meme right now going around Reddit, is that Rogue is going to be terrible. But I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure yet. I'm holding out hope.
I'm not ready to call it either.
Yeah, I think people will figure out a way to make Rogue still viable. It's not that good now, honestly. But I still win with it. I was playing Malagos Rogue the other night, and I was winning a lot of games. So there's something in there. We just got to find it. It's going to be tough to find, but
also, Lucky Do Buccaneer's octopus is wielding a sword. How does that not do it for you? How is that not enough?
It is. There's some super cool art on these cards, man.
Fantastic stuff. And then finally, the legendary for rogues, Shaku the Collector. I don't know.
I'm going Shaku. Yeah.
Shaku.
Shaku.
I'm just going to call him Shaquille, the Collector.
I used to have a friend named Seku.
Okay.
And yeah, I think I'm going with that kind of pronunciation. The coup is like a hard coup. It's a hard coup.
Yeah. Or let's just call it Shaq Fu. There we go.
Shaq Fu the Collector.
Shaq Fu the Collector. It's a 3-mana legendary minion, has 2 attack, 3 health, stealth, and reads whenever this attacks, add a random card to your hand from your opponent's class.
Oh, Burgle Rogue. What up? Yeah.
This I like.
Goes in my Burgle Shadow Sensei Ethereal Peddler Rogue deck.
I don't like this card.
Definitely taken over the meta. I mean, look, you play Shaku the Collector, you Shadow Sensei him into a 4/5, and you attack, and you get a card. That's pretty good, if that happens. How often will that happen? Well, not that often.
I'm willing to try.
I'm gonna go for it. We're gonna make it happen.
I
You know what
think
this is really good for too,
stealing
though?
cards thing is it's so fun in Rogue. So I feel like it might be the deck that gets me playing Rogue. Not because I think it's going to be super powerful, but because I think it's going to be fun.
I'm really excited for my 30 legendary deck to have Shaku in it, though, because I needed some early game. So.
Nice. All right, let's move on.
Sweet in that deck.
Let's move on to the third and final class that makes up the Jade Lotus, the Shaman, and kick things off with Call in the Finishers, a 4-mana common spell that reads, summon 4 1/1 Murlocs. I don't get the name of this card.
Yeah.
Finn.
Oh, Finisher. They needed a hyphen or all caps on the FIN or something. That flew right over my head.
Yeah, look, the Murloc puns are getting a little thin.
Yeah,
when they start using Finn.
They're usually more obvious, man. It's like Finja or any Finn can happen. Like they're actually replacing a proper word. Yeah, this is just a real word.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like they could have, it's.
And Dano Play in the chat room wins all the internet points. He says they need a high Finn.
Yeah, dude, doing it.
Well played. Well played,
Dano. So this card's really good when you also play Every Finn is Awesome, right? But outside of that, no.
I still have fun with my Murloc Shaman from time to time, so I am totally fine with this card.
Yep. It's more Murlocs for your Murloc deck.
Indeed.
That's cool.
I like calling the finishers, even if I'm stupid and didn't get the name.
I do think that in Arena this is okay because 4/1/1s is okay. However, the 5-mana 5/1/1s in Paladin never really took off, so I don't see 4-mana 4/1/1s really taking off either. So
yeah, let's look at the Jade Chieftain. It's got the name Jade in it, so I have a feeling Dills is going to play it. This is a 7-mana common minion, has 5 attack, 5 health, and a battle cry that reads: summon a Jade Golem, give it taunt.
So by turn 7, you're summoning a pretty big golem, probably. You're giving that golem taunt.
Yep.
So a 5/5 is worth something around like I talked about this on my stream. Worth something around like 4.5 mana. So if you get a 3/3 or higher, this card is good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. This is the first one that I think really makes you stop and consider like, is this really worth it? And I think unless you draw extremely poorly with your Jade Golem deck, it is going to be.
Yeah. And because of some of the other cards that Shaman already has, the other Golem cards they have, you'll get there, I think. Like, the game will go to this point. So, yeah, this is a good card.
Yeah.
It's going in.
And then there's Jade.
I don't know about Arena, though, because the 7-mana 5/5, it's common slot. I'm not so sure yet.
Yeah.
And, you'll have to already have Jade Lightnings and Jade Claws and stuff before you can take Jade Chieftain. So in Arena, I'm not so sure. It is a common slot. It will come up quite a bit.
I think it's I think it's relatively safe in Arena because we are getting another common Jade Golem card in the set with Jade Lightning.
Yeah.
Which let's go ahead and talk about. It's a 4-mana common spell, deal 4 damage, summon a Jade Golem.
Yeah, man. It goes space. What?
Shaman.
Space.
Yeah.
Amazing. It's like reach and it's dudes on the board, and yeah, this card is awesome.
It makes Jade Chieftain not as scary in Arena. It's a good card. And then there's
this is going. If you're playing Jade Golem decks, it's going in. If you're playing Arena, you're playing it. Yeah, it's good.
yeah. It's funny, yeah, because you would just take Jade Lightning by itself in Arena. Why not? Jade Chieftain, you would still take later on because you picked up some Jade Lightnings, but you take Jade Lightning regardless because who cares? It's targeted damage
Deal
and
4
summons a
damage,
dude.
summon a 1/1 is still fine.
Yeah.
Because it's reach, it's removal, it's a dude on board. So yeah, I'm down. I'm with it.
Down like a clown, Charlie Brown. Let's move in and talk about, again, I love this card. It is so much fun. Devolve, 2-mana rare spell for Shamans. Transform all enemy minions into random ones that cost 1 less.
At first, I didn't realize that it said enemy minions. I guess I read it really fast, and I thought it was transform all minions, and I was like, why would you want to, like, change your board? This doesn't make any sense. This is terrible. I don't want to
But you play your
my own minions.
Evolve deck, right?
But yeah,
So,
exactly. So it's
Super
just the
fun.
enemy minions, which makes it so much better. And it's
Super
so
fun.
cheap, right?
I don't think it's that good because it doesn't actually remove anything. But it does weaken boards. Sometimes though, it's gonna screw you up. Sometimes it's gonna be really bad for you. But it's a super fun card. I'm not putting it into like it's actually good camp yet. I think
No.
Evolve is actually good. But that's still like kind of a troll fun deck. You're not seeing that in tournaments. I don't think Devolve like makes it into competitive play, but such a fun card. Super fun.
Well, the thing is, it's especially where we're living in a world that's going to have goons in it. I mean, this is a way to like basically remove all of that
buffs.
threat, right? It's like a half as expensive Mass Dispel in a way, right? Because Mass Dispel costs 4 and silences everything. This is kind of like a silence. It's going to get rid of things like death rattles, so this is a good way to potentially deal with things like Cairn and Sylvanas and all these N'Zoth decks. Like, I don't know. I think it could be good.
Yeah, but I'd still rather just hex those things.
Yeah, but you only get 2 hexes and they're single target, right? If
I'm
they've got
just saying,
Cairn
like, I don't
Sylvanas
think
on board, you're like,
I don't
oh my
think you're
god.
trying to win, you
Devolve.
throw Devolve in your deck. Like, I don't think when you're out there trying to climb that ladder, you throw Devolve in. But when you're trying to have a good time, yes.
Yeah, I think Jocelyn has a point, right? Tinkmaster is good in weird scenarios like the Sylvanas example that Joss just brought up. But I mean, for the most part, I look at Devolve through a completely different lens. I mean, most of these cards we look at, is it good and constructed? That's like our first thought, right? When we're looking at any of these. Then we talk about Arena. But every now and then there are cards that are just fun. They're for themed decks. They're just supposed to be a little off the wall, and that's where I put Devolve. So I love this card. I think it's funny as all get out, and I can't wait to put it in my fun Evolve deck.
Oh yeah, I'm going for this. People who watch my stream know. I mean, I'm not playing the meta decks. Last night I was playing Reno Cthulhu Yogg Mage. So yeah, I will play the hell out of Devolve Evolve decks. I'm so in on this card. But yeah, I don't think you're gonna see it. Like, I think Shaman right now is like just still super good, and people are still going to want to play 0-mana 5/5s and hexes and whatever, or they'll play Jade Golems. But
I think if Grimy Goons takes off, there's a chance for Devolve to be competitive.
Yeah, but like there's a lot of cards in this set that are kind of like counters to one specific thing, but you can't really like do that on the ladder because you need to counter like a range of things, right? So like you can't really counter just Grimy Goons, and then like, what does this really do to like golems? Not much, right? So like you have to counter like a range of things. And I think
but if
Evolve might not make it there.
But I mean, we are drinking the Golem Kool-Aid a little bit, don't you think?
I was
mean,
gonna say,
if Golem
depends
decks,
on how popular and powerful golems truly end up to be, which we've in every expansion we've overhyped one thing that turns out to be crap and vice versa. So I mean, there's a possibility that golems aren't as powerful in actual ladder play as we think that they're going to be. It could be that they're just too slow. So if that's the case, and goons that just generally buff your minions, that seems good too, right? So if this counters goons, then absolutely, I think it could see play.
I think if dude buffing goon decks, which copyright Garrett 2016 take off, and Jade Golem decks start running really anything. Like if Golem decks still run like a Sylvanas, then Devolve isn't the worst thing in the world.
No.
It really punishes your dude buffing decks. And if there's any single minion outside of Golems within Golem decks that you would rather be anything else than what it is, Devolve is still an okay card.
Sure.
So and at the end of the day, it's fun. I can't wait to cast this. And then let's talk about Jade Claws, the 2-mana Shaman weapon. This is rare, has 2 attack, 2 durability, and a battle cry that reads, summon a Jade Golem. Also, it overloads you for 1.
Yeah, this card is broken good.
Really good. Really freaking good card right here.
Yeah, because the 2-mana 2/3 weapon that Shaman had, that overloaded for 1, a lot of times that third swing wasn't actually that good. Because by that time they're playing, 4/5s and bigger
Stuff
minions,
you can't
right?
kill with one. Yeah.
Yeah. So the last swing kind of sucks anyway, right? So let's replace that last swing with a dude. That's perfect. I'm in. Yeah, this card is awesome. So, someone in chat, how is this not a rogue card? I know, right?
I agree. I agree.
They already have Spirit Claws, and now we're giving them Jade Claws. What the hell, man?
So many claws.
Yeah.
All the claws.
I don't think you play Spirit Claws in your Jade Golem deck.
No.
Because you play this instead, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a super good card. More cool art, I think. And yeah, really good.
Yeah, some of the I'm glad you mentioned the art, because usually I don't get excited about the standalone like item cards, like it's just an image of a potion or just an image of a weapon. The weapon art, like the standalone item art in this set, has been really phenomenal.
Yeah.
I think
This is Jade Wolverine right here on this art, so I'm in.
Yes, you're right. There are 3 claws. Yeah. There are 3. 4 would make it Freddy Krueger.
There are 3 claws. Yes.
There are 3 claws. Jinyu Water Speaker is our final rare minion for Shamans. It will cost you 4 mana to summon. Has 3 attack, 6 health, and a battle cry that reads, restore 6 health, overload for 1.
Yeah, this card's fine. Control Shaman will definitely play this. Because one thing that Shaman was missing for a long time, and then they finally got their healing card, was the ability to heal themselves back up, right? So they'll have this now. They'll have the legendary. They'll have the joust card. Like they're in there now. They got healing, so you can now make a pretty cool control Shaman deck. So AP drop. I know you're out there. Jinyu Water Speaker. Congratulations. You got your card. Although he'll be the only one who can still play that deck, but this card will go in. It's pretty cool. It's not bad. 4 mana 3/6s are pretty sweet too.
Yeah, I dig the Water Speaker, and not just because he's a Jinyu that is also a goldfish simultaneously, and I love that.
Yeah.
I love the Jinyu and the Klaxi. I think they're really cool. I think Pandaria doesn't get enough, credit for the cool characters that they brought in. Because, Jinyu and Klaxi are probably my 2 favorite. And every single time we get a card that is one of those 2 things, the art looks so cool.
Wait a minit. You're talking about Jinyu and Klaxi? You're just leaving Hosen out there? Like, they don't even matter?
Monkeys are gross.
Ook you and the Duker, Jocelyn.
God damn, no,
Seriously.
that is
The
what I
Hosen
hate
all the
about
way.
them. Is the Hosen and their stupid way of talking drives me crazy.
Actually,
Hosen for life.
I have been on record multiple times saying I hate monkeys. They're creepy and they gross me out. But I do think the Ook Duke stuff was kind of funny. But I still don't like
it
the
was
Hosen.
funny for the first quest or 2, and then you're like, oh dear God, they're gonna talk this way for the entire expansion. Like, oh my God, it's the worst.
And the answer is yes,
Yeah,
Jocelyn. They're
clearly.
monkeys, and Blizzard was just staying true to monkeys in that they are disgusting and insufferable to be around. When I go to the zoo, I avoid the monkey exhibits.
I will say this though, if I play through Pandaria and I have to do that stupid quest where I have to shoot the things and I run her, I will never do that again. Like I get to that quest, I'm like, skip. No, I'm not doing it. But other than that, love me some Hosen, man.
I really just loved Pandaria quite a bit, to be completely honest. I really enjoyed that expansion and the entire kind of art philosophy around it, and I'm glad we're seeing a lot of it represented here with the Jade Lotus.
Yeah, there's a Hosen card too, I think, somewhere.
There
in this
are a
set.
couple. They're neutrals. There are a few neutral
Hosen
Hosen.
healer. Yep.
Yeah, we'll be talking about that here in a sec. But first, let's talk about the first epic card for Shaman, Finders Keepers, which costs 1 mana to cast and reads Discover a card with Overload, Overload 1.
All right.
I like it.
Yeah. I don't know if you play it in... I don't know if like an Overload deck ends up happening, but if it does, you play this card.
Every expansion I screw around with an Overload deck again just once. At least once, because I miss my elementals.
Yeah, totally. But the thing is, so there's a couple cards like this. There's I Know a Guy in Warrior, which discovers a taunt minion. There's this Finders Keepers card. The reason why though that Raven Idol and Journey Below do see play is because they work with the deck, right? Like they work with Arcane Giants and stuff like that, or they work with Auctioneers, or they in Rogue they trigger combos, right? So like they have to have one other purpose outside, or like a Raven Idol works with Fandral really well, right? They have to have some other purpose than just being a card to find another card, because if you want to find a card, why not just play that card, right? Like that's I think the issue that you're going to find with cards like Finders Keepers. So we'll see. Time will tell. But the card on its own in a vacuum is actually fine. It's totally fine.
I've always been seduced by Overload as like an Overload themed deck as a Shaman, because I loved Unbound Elemental so much when I first started playing Hearthstone.
Yeah.
So this card does make me excited. Plus we have Tunnel Trog, for crying out loud. So this
true
once again will make me journey back in and try an Overload themed deck. Probably won't work out, but I'm happy to have another tool to play around with.
I'm excited to try out my Reno Overload Shaman deck with Finders Keepers in there. Like I'm in. Fun cards, I'm in. I'm just like I'm being realistic about whether some of these cards are actually going to see play or not. Like at BlizzCon, I don't think this card does, but I'm in. I'm in on it. I'm playing it.
Yeah. All right. Final epic for Shamans, Lotus Illusionist. Will cost you 4 mana, has 3 attack, 5 health, and reads, after this minion attacks a hero, transform it into a random 6-cost minion.
Super cool.
Such a cool card.
It evolves itself.
Yep.
Yeah. I really like this card.
You have to go face, though.
You do have to go face. You absolutely have to go face. So, Lotus Illusionist, hidden text, pray they don't have taunt.
The issue here, like, sometimes you're going to want to use it to trade, but you are going to then force yourself not to, and then sometimes it'll turn into a 1/1, because now there's that 6 mana 1/1 6/6. And that'll suck. But super cool card. Sometimes it'll turn into Sylvanas, right? So that'll be great. I love this card. I think it's super fun. But again, not a competitive card, but a super fun card.
Yeah,
super fun.
I like seeing an evolve like the evolve like effect being warped in this way. I'd like to see more of it. I'd love to see this on a card where they evolve if they attack a minion, for example.
Here's what you do though. You coin this out on 3. You attack face. It turns into a 6-drop. And then you Master of Evolution it, and you turn it into a 7-drop on turn 4. Yeah.
And all the while
7-drops are kind of worse than 6-drops, to be honest, but still.
And all the while you could have just been playing Jade Golems.
Yep. The other guy's just summoning Jade Golems. You're like, dude, I'm evolving.
I am the Pokemon master.
Dude, I'm smashing your face with huge guys. Cool.
All right, let's talk about the Shaman Legendary White Eyes. He's going to cost you 5 mana. He has 5 attack, 5 health, taunt, and a death rattle that reads, shuffle the Storm Guardian into your deck. And if you're wondering what the Storm Guardian is, it's a 10/10 with taunt. That also costs 5 mana. So you have to play him. So
you didn't like 4 mana 7/7s. Have a 5 mana 10/10.
Except
it's a 5 mana 10/10 that may or may not get drawn. This has to get drawn.
It's also extremely unlikely it's coming down on turn 5, because you would have to coin out White Eyes and then hope the Storm Guardian goes on top of your deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, Shaman plays 0 mana 5/5s with taunt. I don't think they want to play a 5 mana 5/5 with taunt. So
yeah.
I don't think this card's actually, like, people saw this and Reddit was like, oh my god, you're giving him another huge dude. I don't think this is actually that crazy.
It is really slow. I mean, a
yeah,
5/5
really
with taunt on 5 is extremely unexciting.
But what about, because you were talking about Control Shaman and how that might actually be enabled now by the Jinyu water speaker. So is this maybe something that goes into that deck where, you maybe want to save yourself a little bit from fatigue? I mean, the same way that Elise, you put the map and then the golden monkey and all the rest of it. So is this maybe a control card?
If it's a card in any deck, it's in a control deck, definitely. Because it has to be a deck that's actually going to get to the point where it draws the Storm Guardian to ever actually utilize it, right?
Yeah.
Because like this, it's not a battle cry to shuffle it in. It's a death rattle. It has to come out, it has to live, or sorry, it has to die, and then you have to draw the Storm Guardian. So yeah, if it lives in any deck, it is a Control Shaman deck. Like I'll make a N'Zoth Reno Shaman thing. Evolve and Finders Keepers and stuff. I'll do all that. I'm in. I'm hell yeah. But again, will this be a BlizzCon? Probably not.
I don't think so.
Yeah. People went crazy when they saw the 5-minute 10-10.
Yeah.
But it's like it's asked so much.
You have to
there,
find
right?
it, man. You have to find it. And yeah, it's good. There'll be situations where you find it almost immediately and it's early on in the game and it's a huge swing in your favor. But more often than not, it's just gonna be kind of okay.
Yeah. By the way, though, like this will end up seeing play when people do play Elise, though, right? Because it's a legendary. So there'll be times this comes up.
Yeah, and not necessarily in Shaman.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably in a lot more warrior than anything else. White Eyes, warrior legendary. Great. Well, before we move on and talk about the tri-class cards and neutrals, let's thank our patrons who are supporting us over at patreon.com/TAC. It's the best way to support the show. Angry Chicken's always going to be free. But if you like us and you'd like to take the extra step and support us monetarily, go to patreon.com/TAC and check it out. On this episode, we wanted to thank Paul F., Kyle, just Kyle. There's no last name whatsoever indicated there, so you know who you are. Matthew M., Keen, DVT, Christian S., Ryan R., Zach J., and Duncan M. Thank you all so much for supporting the Angry Chicken. We really do appreciate it, and it's because of you all that we get to just be like, oh, it comes out Thursday? I guess we're doing an extra episode on Thursday. So thank you all very much for the support. And stay tuned for, our extra episode this Thursday for the launch of the Mean Streets of Gadgetzan. But also, if you're watching live right now, we're doing our next patron hangout right after this. So get ready to chat Hearthstone with us after we stretch and get a drink. And then maybe take a nap and dream about Jade Golems. All right. We good? We get through that? Sweet. Let's move on and talk about the tri-class cards for the Jade Lotus. So these 3 cards can be used by Rogue, Druid, and Shamans, and no other classes. So first up is the common for the Jade Lotus, the Jade Spirit. So this is going to be your 4-mana minion, has 2 attack, 3 health, and a battle cry. Summon a happy Dills. Summons a Jade Golem. This is a neutral, so this is a Jade Golem summoner for any of the 3 Jade Lotus classes. So, Dills, can I take it away? Does it summon a Jade Golem? Cool.
Yep, it does. So, yep, Jade Golem decks, 2 of them. 2 of them go in. Outside of that, not much to talk about.
I love the art, though. Again, this is more Pandaria themed stuff, and all of these spirits. There's all kinds of Pandarian earth, water, all those spirits. They were so freaking cool, and I love the art of the Jade Spirit. I think it's great.
It is cool.
I really enjoy this. Those creatures in Pandaria, they were cool looking. It makes me want to go back and run the brewery 5-man.
Yes.
Now let's look at Lotus Agents. This is a 5-mana rare minion, has 5 attack, 3 health, and a battle cry that reads, discover a Druid, Rogue, or Shaman card. There's one of these for all 3 clans, and this is the one for the Jade Lotus.
Battle cry, discover another Jade Golem card.
Probably. Probably.
Yeah, this is, I mean, as far as like the, compare this to like Cabal Courier and Grime Street Informant, and this card's actually probably the best of the 3 because the stat line is actually not terrible either, right?
Yeah.
5 mana, 5/3 actually trades. Like, yes, a 3 health guy sucks. We know this, but a lot of times the attack matters a lot too. So
yeah,
unless
you're
they
playing
don't have
against
to
a
remove
Shaman.
it trades up. It's a threat. Pretty good.
And actually, all of the minions we're talking about right now have 3 health. All of them. Count them all.
That's true. Yeah.
Including the legendary for the Jade Lotus, Aya Blackpaw. It's going to cost you 6 mana to cast Aya. She has 5 attack, 3 health, a chain poker that I don't want to get hit with, and a battle cry and death rattle. Summon a Jade Golem.
Hell yeah. Let's do this. Let's double the golem.
Yep.
Double the golem, double the fun. Yeah, Aya Blackpaw. Good card.
Great character
Super good.
design, good card. I'm excited to play Jade Lotus, guys. I mean, Cabal, flavor-wise, that's where I'm at. I want the creepy spell casters, with their red mana and craziness, but the Jade Lotus have some really fun cards, even outside of Jade Golems. We're all excited for Jade Golems, but there's some cool stuff in here even outside of that.
Yeah, but with this card, well, yeah, the art's freaking awesome. Everything about the card itself is awesome. I love the battle cry and death rattle effect that we got introduced with Toshly. And even if this was in a vacuum, right? I think I would even pick this in Arena where it's play a 6 mana 5/3, summon a 1/1, death rattle, summon a 2/2. I don't know. Even that is fine, right?
Yeah.
So, yep, good card. Super good card.
Well, let's move on to the regular neutral commons that we have dubbed Lotus-y. So we had to find somewhere to cram neutrals in, and we'll have more to talk about on Thursday. But let's talk about the neutrals that seem to, at least from an art standpoint, not really so much in their actual abilities, be members of the Jade Lotus clan. Starting with the Ancient of Blossoms. This is a 6 mana 3/8 with taunt, and it's going to be in your common slot.
Pretty boring.
Yes. Yes, very boring. Pretty ancient.
Yay, 6 mana 3/8 taunt. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But it's an ancient who doesn't live solely in Druid, so that's kind of cool, maybe.
Maybe it's
I guess.
3/8.
It means
man.
absolutely nothing. It's not like they're a tribe, but
It does. It means absolutely nothing.
I mean, I think sometimes in Arena you'll pick this card just because, it's a common. It'll come up. A 3/8 is not fantastic, but it's a card that'll if you have buffing cards, if you have stuff like that, sure. The 8 health means it'll live. So
Yeah.
sometimes you'll pick it and it'll be fine.
Yep.
It never goes in any constructed deck ever though.
No. Blowgill Sniper. This is your 2 mana common neutral Murloc with 2 attack, 1 health, and a battle cry that reads, deal 1 damage.
This is actually pretty good. I like this card.
As far as Murlocs are concerned, if it's going in your Murloc deck, yeah. Sign me up.
But I think in Arena too, I think this is fine. A 2 mana 2/1, but the fact that pings are actually really powerful.
Oh yes.
In Arena. So, I think a ping effect, you'll want that sometimes. So I'm down. I'm down with this card. Down with the Blowgill Sniper. I think it's cool.
I haven't said this all day. I would file this under dope as hell.
Yeah, man.
You've been saying down a lot, so need to bust out.
Yeah, I'm down. It's dope. Good card.
Jocelyn, what's your catchphrase? I don't even remember.
oh, there's so many. Hype.
Hi, there you go. Hi, Blowgill Sniper. Hype.
Oh,
That
hot.
fits.
And then let's talk about Jocelyn's favorite card, the Grookfu Master, which is your 5 mana common minion. A Hosen is sadly not a tribe.
I was just going to say at least they can't talk, but I'm sure his sound effects are going to be Uka Duka, whatever.
I bet he comes down
Duka, whatever.
and he yells Grook you. And other stuff. I don't know. But he has 3 attack, 5 health, and Wind Fury. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh. Let's look at Naga Corsair, 4 mana common pirate minion, 5 attack, 4 health, and a battle cry that reads, give your weapon +1 attack. Good in
Cool,
pirate
man.
decks.
Yeah, if you're playing a pirate deck, you're definitely playing Naga Corsair.
Mm-hmm. Putting in
For
your
sure.
pirate warrior right away. Just
If
give it
you're
a shot.
not, then you're not.
No.
In Arena though, I'm down with this. If I'm playing Rogue or maybe Warrior that already has drafted a whole bunch of weapons, I'll probably draft this in Arena. Rogue, I'll love this because on turn 3 I'll just play my weapon and then on turn 4 I'll buff it. Right, so
Yeah.
that'll be cool.
That's fine. It's a solid card. Solid pirate.
Yeah.
And then the Hosen Healer. the 4-mana common minion with 2 attack, 6 health, and a battle cry that reads, restore a minion to full health.
Yeah, it's cool. This is a super cool card, actually. We were talking about it a little bit on stream. So there is an interaction where if you play Akanai and Reno, it kills you. So if you were to play Akanai and Hosen Healer, you should be able to kill a minion, right? So
yeah,
there you go.
Could be really neat.
Get at it, priest players. There's your kill there's kill Ragnaros. Turn 8 Akanai into Hosen Healer, kill Ragnaros.
Yeah, because priest didn't already have a way to kill Ragnaros or steal him.
No. But I mean, it's a cool card. I think you will pick it in. Like, I like this card in Arena because it's like you turn one of your minions into a removal spell. Essentially, you can trade with something for free and heal it back up to full, and then trade again. And a 4-mana 2/6 body, while kind of weak, is not the worst thing ever. So
no.
Well, that's another
Confuzzle
thing that
priest,
could.
by the way. Let's do
Yeah,
it.
really. It's totally lost my train of thought. Oh, it's something that could potentially trade more than once, right?
Sure.
In Arena,
Yeah.
if you've got 2/6, like that 6 health is going to be really hard for someone to get rid of on their turn 4 or 5, depending on when this gets played. So.
And now you just made me think, because we've talked about multiple times today, there's just not enough removal. So maybe there's more to that Akanai combo than I originally gave credit to. Because well, you could kill, it's 2 more Shadow Word deaths for golems if you're priest.
You can kill Ysera, which you can't kill as priest ever, right?
Nope.
So
But you can
kill
steal it.
Malygos.
Or Malygos, yeah.
Yeah. You can steal them, though. But at a certain point, you're just like, how many Entomb targets are in this deck?
Exactly. Yeah. Because I'm trying to entomb Sylvanas, I'm trying to entomb Malygos, I'm trying to entomb too many things. I only have 2 of them.
Yep, indeed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't actually think that will be a thing that people do, but it is a thing you could do. So
Indeed. Also,
Go for it.
sweet art. I don't like Hosen. This is a cool looking Hosen. Let's
It's
bring
like
it
an
home.
Indiana Jones Hosen, right?
Is he? Going
I don't know.
back.
He's like a little. He seems like he's in some sort of a temple, and he's sitting on a little thing, and he's got some magical stuff.
I don't
going
remember
on.
Indiana Jones ever coming in contact with like a monkey kung fu master, but I guess we can.
Well, maybe he should have.
That would make for
Indiana Jones and monkeys, they go hand in hand, man.
Indiana Jones and the Legend of the Uka Duke.
Ugh,
All right, let's bring it home with the
Jocelyn wouldn't have seen that movie. By the way.
no.
Let's bring it home with the Lotus-y neutral rares, epics, and legendaries. Starting with Backroom Bouncer, which Jocelyn and I sat and debated a good long while about this particular card because I was a Backroom Bouncer. He's a Tauren. He's clearly a grimy goon, but you're right, Jocelyn. He looks like he's wearing Jade Lotus-y clothes.
Well, he
Yeah.
does, and he's clearly protecting their like backroom super sneaky activities.
Where they're crafting their Jade Golem back
Yes.
there. Okay.
Yeah.
Back there with their knives and their jade, or whatever, and
So
chisels
this
maybe.
card sucks really bad. This is terrible.
I haven't said what it does yet. All right, it's a 4-mana rare minion, has 4 attack, 4 health, and whenever a friendly minion dies, gain +1 attack. Yeah, it's
It's
lame.
terrible.
It's a pretty lame card.
Yeah.
Pretty lame.
Like
card.
and I know someone out there is gonna be like, but dude, unleash the hounds into Backroom Bouncer, and no, not that good.
Yeah.
Not that good. I would rather unleash the hounds and play Cult Master and draw a bunch more cards than unleash the hounds and make like an 8/4, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And pirates, I would argue, could be part of the Lotus or the Grimy Goons because rogues and warriors seem to love themselves some pirates. But we already talked about some of the pirates with the goons, so let's talk about some of them now with the Lotus. Starting with the
Because
small.
pirates and ninjas, dude.
Well,
They go hand in hand. They
They
hang.
do.
some would argue they don't get along though, because it's usually pirates versus ninjas.
That's true. Yeah.
But
But I think so. They fight, and then afterwards they hang.
Yeah.
The ninjas drink sake, and the pirates drink rum. But
Yeah.
they still hang.
rum is for drinking, not for burning. Remember that. So let's talk about the small time Buccaneer. This is a 1-mana rare pirate, has 1 attack, 2 health, and has +2 attack while you have a weapon equipped.
This seems really good for Rogue.
Yeah, totally. If I'm playing rogue pirates, I'm playing this card.
Even without pirates, I mean, it's just like a 1-drop, and anytime you use your hero power, this guy's a 3/2.
It's true. Yeah. I wish this was a common, honestly, because I would love this card to be seeing some play. But I mean, I get it. It's a tricky card, kind of what they do.
Also
But yeah,
be
no,
pretty
really good
powerful.
for rogues.
I think it'd
Totally.
be pretty powerful in a common slot in arena.
Yeah, but I don't think it would be too powerful. Like forever, we had the mech version of this, right? The Cogmaster, right? And this is only good for rogue, really, or I guess warrior. You can play in pirate warrior. You might play this, right? Because you play small time buccaneer, and then you play fiery war axe on turn 2, and then you smash.
Then
face
you have
6.
6 damage available,
Yep.
and you make
Smash
other
face
people
6.
cry. Yeah,
Totally.
sounds about right.
Yeah. Also, too, there's that we just talked about. Isn't there that rogue card with the +3 if they have at least 3 attack or 3 whatever? Like maybe, that pirate lucky do buccaneer. Like it seems like there might be some piratey thing going on here now, right? Where you play weapons, you play this guy, you play the 5/4 that buffs your weapons. You know, might be something there. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the Defias Cleaner. It's the only neutral epic we're going to talk about because Defias are rogues in the Lotus. There's our that's our rationale there. So this is your 6-mana epic minion, has 5 attack, 7 health, and a battle cry that reads "Silence a minion with death rattle."
Cool.
All right.
Very specific.
Yeah.
Yeah. The problem with this, like you look at it and you go, oh, that's a really good effect, right? But the thing is, like, again, you're countering something specific, like Jocelyn said. Like you're not countering the field. You're only countering death rattle. So
Well, and I think that this is probably the way we're going to see silence work because just in general, silence is so powerful. That's why, we've seen what we saw the owl get nerfed is it became an auto include because silence was so powerful. So in order for them to include silence in the game going forward, it's probably going to be something like this where it's very specific, silence a buff or silence a death rattle.
Yeah.
they gave a priest a silence card, just silence anything card.
Yeah.
Which is actually like pretty. It's like a 5-mana 5/5, so it's probably better than like Spellbreaker. But I think the problem with Owl wasn't really that silence is too powerful. The problem was that it was too cheap, right? So it made aggro decks like your taunt doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. It really homogenized the game too because a lot of aggro decks were running it.
Yeah.
So I get that. It's something we haven't talked about in a while and something I don't think the community talks about a lot. Really, which is just there's a lot of talk about the war on like OTK and charge, but it's like silence has really been beaten back a bit as well. So
like I'm okay with more silence cards, but they should be like expensive, right? Like a 5-mana and a 6-mana card that's silence. That's fine. That's totally fine. I think you just can't give them 2-mana silences anymore. You just can't do that. The 0-mana silence is okay because it's priest, right? Like priest isn't coming at my face with some crazy Leroy combo. So
Yeah.
for now.
Yeah, I know.
All right, let's talk about some neutral legendaries. Finja, the Flying Star. This is your 5-mana legendary Murloc that has 2 attack, 4 health, stealth, and reads whenever this attacks and kills a minion. Summon 2 Murlocs from your deck. I don't care. It's a Ninja Murloc is the best card in the game.
So there is an interesting place for this, I think, in Anyfin Paladin. Because one of the issues that Anyfin Paladin has is they sometimes struggle to get their Murlocs onto the board and have them die, right? So you could play Finja, and then you kill something, and then summon 2 of them directly onto the board, right? So that kind of handles an issue for them. So could be something there. Plus, like it says attacks and kills a minion. That might be hard for a 2/4 on 5. But if you equality something, then attack then that's easy to accomplish. Or if you true silver it first and then attack it with Finja, then suddenly that's easy to do as well. So I don't know. I think there's a place there. Outside of that, I don't think you just like play it in your like Murloc or Shaman Murloc.
I was gonna say, what about Murloc Shaman?
Yeah, okay, sure, go for it. Yeah.
Yep.
But I'm not sure if this one actually makes the cut. There's so many other like Murlocs now. I think that this one might not be the one, but I'm down with this card. I think it's super cool.
Yeah, I like it.
First time we've seen this effect too. Attack and kill. Like we've seen attack, but not attack and kill.
Well, I think it's
There was one other one we talked about today that was when you attack and kill, it gains stealth again. The rogue
Oh yeah,
card.
but yeah.
Was it form? What was the wording like that though? Because I don't always. Let me just double check on.
Lotus Assassin.
Lotus
whenever...
Assassin attacks and kills. Yeah, so we
Okay,
have two
so never
cards
mind.
in this set. The first time we've seen this type of mechanic.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought maybe the assassin said just whenever this kills a minion, but yeah, no, it's consistent. Hey, go figure. All right, let's look at Madame Goya. This is a 6-mana legendary, has 4 attack, 3 health, and a battle cry that reads: choose a friendly minion, swap it with a minion in your deck.
So this doesn't say random, but it is random.
Yeah.
We need to clarify that.
Yeah.
When I first saw this, I was like, it doesn't say random. Do I see all the minions in my deck and then pick one?
Because that would be amazing and make me
Yeah, that would
excited
be
about this card.
Ridiculously powerful.
That would be so good. But no, it doesn't do that.
No, so
Just pulls a minion out and replaces the one that's on the board.
yeah,
That'd be cool.
yeah. And instead, this card isn't that cool.
No.
No.
It's really hard to do something awesome, right? Because to pay 6 mana for 4/3, it needs to replace, something bad with something awesome, right? And you're going to have to put minions that will live in your deck to then be able to Madame Goya and hope to get some giant minion.
So what about in like a rampy druid where
Well,
they have mostly big dudes?
Rampy
Also
Barnes
very-
Druid.
But then you still have to have small minions. So the way I was thinking about it was you could put in living roots and no small minions, right? So then you on 7 you living roots and then you trade one of
bounce a
your
1/1,
1/1s for
yeah.
something else. Sure. But that's not going to happen that often. So
Yep. Well,
still probably bad.
was nice knowing you, Madame Goya.
I'm going to try though. I'm like I said, I like the fun cards. I like to do something weird. So
Yeah.
we're going to give you a shot, Madame Goya, at some point.
Yep. Finally, let's talk about Rathian. Not because he's Lotus-y, just because we want to. We have that power. We can do that, and we're exercising it now. Rathian has finally come to Hearthstone. He's a 6-mana legendary minion. He has 4 attack, 5 health. He has taunt, and he has a battle cry that reads: draw cards until you draw one that isn't a dragon. It's pretty cool.
So 1 card for sure.
1 card for sure. Yep. 29
Potentially
for sure.
more. Yeah.
Yeah, you could. You could play a deck that has 20 dragons in it, and you'll probably draw a lot of cards. But I think if you have a fairly standard dragon deck, you'll normally only have maybe 8 to 12 dragons in that. So most of the time it'll draw 1, and sometimes it'll draw 2. But I don't think it's going to draw 4.
yeah,
Like
it
that.
has. Potentially, if you get lucky, could draw a bunch of, give you a crazy draw. But
also, a 6-mana 4/5 with taunt that draws a card is not terrible. In a vacuum, this card is fine, right? But one thing that I find weird is, why is it not a dragon? Because isn't Raytheon a dragon?
He is a dragon.
He is. However,
so that was my first thought too. Is I was just like, hang on a second. Technically, he's in his human form.
Yeah, but he's a drake.
He is a dragon.
Literally
yes.
a dragon.
He's a black dragon.
His flavor text, which was data mined today, answers this very question.
Oh, okay.
It reads: Rathian, son of Deathwing, is a dragon. Why isn't he tagged as a dragon, you ask? What, are you trying to blow his cover?
Okay. All right.
I don't know. Yeah.
That doesn't explain it. It just acknowledges it.
I have a feeling at one point he was, and it probably was a little stronger than they anticipated.
It's probably broken if he's actually tagged as a dragon.
I guess. I don't know if this would be that broken.
This is
though.
the interesting. This is why I want to get a dev on, because this is one of those cards I'd love to ask the question of: A, why not? And if that was the reason, where do you make the concession? Do you take the tag away and keep him a 6 cost, or how much is the tag dragon worth versus what he should be mana cost wise? Because what if you catch him as a dragon and increase the mana cost? At what point do we think that's fair?
Or decrease the stat line or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious to know, if he was tagged a dragon, what happened? What was broken? What happened? I don't understand.
That's the question, right? I'm not sure.
I don't know. Dragon decks are not that crazy.
Well, Well, I
You don't
think
see
the
them
thing
that
is
much. Like,
that he fits really well into a dragon deck, and then so if he is tagged as a dragon, so the basically the use case where you would use this card, he's one more activator for a lot of other effects, and maybe that was just too powerful.
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't see it. I mean, I've played dragon decks. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that they were like, oh my god, you keep Blackwing Corruptoring me because you have Raytheon. Like, I just don't see that happening, like, at Team 5 in the background. They're like, you know what? Take Dragon off this card. It's too good. But
Well, and as chat room is currently pointing out, it could also be discovered, right? If it was tagged as a dragon.
Mhm.
So maybe that was also too powerful.
Yeah,
Although,
I guess.
yeah.
I don't know. I'm debating whether this card is like even playable right now, and so, like, I think it's decent. I don't think it's really good. I think it's decent. Like, I think you probably still play the Curator more than you play Raytheon in your dragon decks, right?
Yeah.
we'll see.
Because you know what you're getting, right? I mean,
Yeah, because you put in like you're gonna get an Azure Drake or whatever, and then you can put in like your single beast, and then you can put in your single Murloc, right? So I think this card like is actually not as good as people are thinking it is.
I think it's pretty
I
good.
think it's fine. I think it's fine.
I think it's a cool card, and I think this is one of the ones that more than most cards that we've looked at, I think really kind of bears playing with.
Yeah, like Dragon Priest will play this, Dragon Warrior will play this, but like Dragon Warrior only really runs in its current form like 6 or 8 dragons, right? Dragon Priest is gonna run more, so I think this is more playable in that deck.
Dragon Paladin coming back, calling it.
Yeah, maybe Dragon Paladin
Dragon
comes
Paladin,
back.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe that was the problem, right? Like you play the 5 mana, make your dragons cheaper, and then this was suddenly a 4 mana, 4 or 5.
Draw all your dragons and
Draw
kill
all your
everyone.
dragons. Yeah, maybe that was the problem.
Well,
They
draw.
didn't think of that.
Yeah. Well, anyways, that brings us to the end of the Jade Lotus discussion, wrapping it up with a non-Jade Lotus-y card. But we will be back Thursday to wrap up the rest of the cards we haven't talked about. We'll also be opening packs on stream, on multiple streams. I'll be running mine on the A-Move stream. Jocelyn will be running hers on Joss Plays, and Dills will be running his on Willie Dills
Hopefully.
SF. Hopefully, yeah.
Assuming that my capture card comes and works and I can get my streaming computer working again.
We're
then
definitely
hopefully.
doing the show. We're
Yes.
hoping to also do pack openings. So the time though is up in the air. Thursday's really crazy for specifically me, and also we don't know what time the damn game goes live, like the actual update. So and we never do. So we'll figure it out. Probably around noon or 1, but who knows?
Just watch Twitter.
Yeah, keep an eye. If you're not following TAC Podcasts on Twitter, definitely do that. It's the best place to keep up to date with when we're going live, especially when there's episodes that are in flux, special episodes like the Mean Streets of Gadgetzan launch show we'll be doing in 2 days. Anyways, thanks again to our awesome patrons for supporting our episode or our show. If you like the Angry Chicken and you want to support us, go to patreon.com/TAC. Huge thanks to Declan H. and Peter Williams, our Patreon producers, for going the extra mile in support of the show. And also, thank you, those of you who are dropping us 5-star reviews in the iTunes store. It helps the show out quite a bit. Doesn't cost a dime. And it doesn't even cost a penny. Thank you to, I'm sure he meant 007, but I always read this as Dblo7, who has left reviews for other shows before, who said, no RNG in this podcast. All right. I would argue we're of random degrees of quality sometimes. Waldorf78, DC Snowrider, and Rod Darrell, who left us a really nice 5-star review and wrote, not bad, which I thought was hilarious and tickled me. So you can find all the back catalog of this show and many other podcasts over at amove.tv or on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/amovetv. Check out our swag and other goodies over at shirts.amovetv, and we also have glasses for varying beverages over at etched.amovetv. So check that out. We're usually live Tuesday nights at 4 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/amovetv or on alphageekmedia.com. And Dills, where can folks find your work?
You can find me on Twitter at Willie Dills and twitch.tv/WillieDillsSF. I think tonight is a night off, but tomorrow we'll be streaming a lot, and I think Thursday, obviously, all day. All friggin' day. New cards, new decks, new fun, arena, the whole thing.
Excuse
So,
me, Mr. Dills,
join.
what if it launches at like 11 p.m.? Are you still streaming all
God.
day?
Yes, all night. Then we'll stay up. We'll just drink coffee and we'll watch the sunrise while we play Raytheon Dragon Priest.
The sun will come
Love it.
out tomorrow, and I'll have Jade Golems tomorrow. Jocelyn, where can folks find your work?
You can find me on Twitter and Twitch. I'm at Joss Plays. That's JOCE Plays. You can also find me right here on twitch.tv/AMoveTV every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern for The Gamers In, which is my general gaming podcast. Links to everything that I do is at jossplays.com.
Fantastic. Follow me on Twitter at Garrett Art. Don't forget that second T in Garrett. Everyone does. And everything I do can be found at emove.tv. There's so many shows. I don't know. Check out For Azeroth. That's the newest one. Joss and I talking WoW stuff. What do we even cover this week? My God, we've already done 6 lore segments. They're starting to blend together.
We did Kieran Tour this
We
week.
did Kieran Tour. There we go. You want to learn about mages and stuff and have another discussion of why Jane is so angry? Go listen to that. And also, big thanks to Harrys.com again for sponsoring this episode. Check out Harrys.com right now. Check out that limited edition holiday box set. It really is a nice box. It makes a nice gift. Once you unwrap that, you'll be impressed. And you can use the code TAC at checkout to get $5 off your order. So go check them out, Harrys.com. High-quality blades, they're at a good price. We definitely enjoy them here at TAC. That's going to do it for this episode. We'll see you Thursday for our Mean Streets of Gadgetzan launch episode, where we'll be covering the rest of the cards we haven't talked about yet, and possibly a pack opening afterwards. Until then, job's done.
Job's done.
Job's done.
Yep.
I just hate it now. I just hate it.
Yeah, I dread it every week now.